Are we live? Check. Are we live, guys? They're not. Maybe it's taking a bit of time. Yeah, I think we're live. Okay, so hi guys, welcome to TechTalks by GDSC IIIT Kalyani, and welcome to the first session of Web Wonders Weekly, which is a part of the TechTalks by GDSC IIIT Kalyani. And as you've all seen in the poster, we're going to start with JavaScript basics today. Now, a little bit about the Tech Talks. This is like a long stretch of sessions in which we'll teach you about different domains and on a fixed dates. Let's see who all are here. Guys, I want you to spam the chat with fire emoji. The chat not working. Hey, nice. Sayan is here. Arup Matabar, Akshat, Arnab Pati, Virat Krishna, Riyansh Jain. Hi guys, welcome. So we'll start in a few minutes. Let others come. And while we're here, why don't you just hit the like button and share it with your friends so that they can join also and cannot miss out on this. Because it's huge. Oh, thank you. Chat. Let's just I have to open my mobile to see the chat. Hi, good evening, Anuj. Okay, now I can see your chats. Guys, why don't you tell me where you watching this stream from in the chat? Drop your city in the chat. Rihansh, 1 minute away. Hi, yes, Chandra. Kolkata, nice. Good evening, good evening. From Barakpur, nice. So I am streaming from Kalyani and I'm right now in a cafe. Watching from Dubai, nice. We have nice reach then. It's good to know that some people are watching from Dubai. Rom, Barakpur, Buddha Park. Very good, very specific location you gave, Buddha Park. Nice. I can track you now. Kolkata, Buddha Park. Nice. Okay, so guys, I think it's time that we should start now. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? If you are, please spam in the chat. Yes, we are ready. Let's go. Type LFG in the chat if you are ready. LFG. All right, let's go. So, we're going to start with JavaScript basics, as you all know. Now, let's start. So, what is JavaScript? Okay. So, as you can see, JavaScript is a high-level intermediate language. It is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. As of 2023, 98.7% of websites use JavaScript on client side for web-based behavior. Basically, if you think from a beginner's perspective, JavaScript is a very important part of web development. As we'll see ahead, JavaScript has a lot of role to play in Java, in web development. And let's move forward. See, you can see JavaScript can be used both for front end as well as back end. So it should blow your mind. You can like everything from front end to back end. You can use JavaScript in everything. So it is very important for you to learn JavaScript, and that's why you should attend the sessions, both the sessions which we'll have on JavaScript. Okay. Then about frameworks. Why should you learn JavaScript? There are certain things called web frameworks, and many of the web frameworks are either written in JavaScript or they use JavaScript. So, like web frameworks, libraries, they use JavaScript. For example, as you can see on the screen, React.js, Express.js, Vue.js, Next, Svelte, Ember.js, and 3.js. These are different web frameworks which use JavaScript when you write code in them. So you will encounter JavaScript at least once, कहीं ना कहीं तुम्हें JavaScript दिख ही जाना है. Either you go front end or back end, you have to use JavaScript, but at least use it once. So it is very important for you to learn. And what we'll do today, in today's session, we'll talk about introduction to JavaScript, syntax, conditional and iterative statements. This session, JavaScript is a broad thing, so we have divided this thing into two sessions. Today is the part one, and tomorrow you'll have the part two, where you learn about functions, objects, and DOM manipulation. DOM manipulation is the part where you learn how to integrate the HTML code with your JavaScript, and how you can control your HTML with your JavaScript, how you can manipulate it. Basically, today we're going to dive deep into the basics of JavaScript. Yeah, show us some love, folks. Hit the like button and share this with your friends, so that they cannot miss out. And so, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? If you are, please spam in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. LFG. Spam the chat. भाई दिखना चाहिए. तुम लोगों ऐसे एनर्जी नहीं दिख रहा है. Yes, we are ready. Background noise. Okay, okay. I'm trying to take care. We'll try to take care of that. Spam in the chat. Spam in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. Because we're about to start. Okay. Uh, Let me tell you, in this session, I'll actually code and tell you different concepts related to JavaScript. So it is advisable that you also sit on your laptop, open your code editor, and start coding along with me. So do you guys have your laptops ready? Do you guys have your code editor ready with you? Spam in the chat. I'm looking at the chat when I'm looking here. Hi guys, I think we are back. Tell me if you can see me. All right. So since we are ready, let's jump right into this session. So first of all, you will ask, sir, how do I install JavaScript? Like in many programming languages which you have encountered as of now, most of you must have done C or C++ or Java because it is like one of the most popular, and um, C is taught in many colleges. In fact, in my college also. So in that you have to install compiler. But if we talk about JavaScript, there's a catch. You don't need to install because it already exists on your browser. You run it from your browser. Although, if you want to run it in your system, you can do it. You can do it, and how you do it, about that we'll teach you in the next session. So keep your eye on that also. Make sure you attend the next session also, so that you, in continuation, you can complete the whole JavaScript series. So you don't have to install it; it is already in your browser. So let's move forward. So what we'll do, first of all, we'll learn about output, comments, variable, operator, data types. And I know most of you must be bored by hearing these topics as of now, because every programming language that you learn, you have to go through these always, and they are very simple and like boring stuff as of now, right? So we'll quickly go through them, and I hope you're not bored while going through them. So let's jump right into it. For that, I'm going to open my code editor. I hope you guys are able to see my. Okay, I think I'm going to increase the font. Yep, I think. Can you guys see the code clearly? All right. So, can you guys see the code clearly? If you can, uh, right? Yes, we can see in the chat. So we'll proceed accordingly. All right, let's proceed. So first we're going to learn about output, how you display output, and what are the possibilities in which you can display output in your JavaScript using JavaScript code. So for that, we'll take a simple web page. I've created an HTML page, output.html, which is a simple web page, and it has just a few things in it. I'm going like, okay, yeah. So I hope you can now see my web page. See, this is the web page is being put, which is shown by this. This web page is only a heading, my first web page, and a paragraph which has welcome to my page text. Okay. Now, how do you present your output? Okay. We have taken we have taken here a p tag, and we have given it an ID demo. Okay. So I'll code it in front of you so that you can understand better. I have taken a p tag, and in that I have given that p tag an ID demo. All right. So this p tag has an ID demo, and now there are few ways in which I can display output. The first one is by using inner HTML. How you do that? I'll tell you. First, I suggest I write it, and then I'll explain the code, how it displays the output in that. Okay. So I'll write document dot get element by ID. Then see, it's my GitHub Copilot which is suggesting the code automatically, but we'll write on our own. We'll not listen to it. Okay. I hope most of you know what GitHub Copilot is. So let's just say we're writing JavaScript basics. Okay. See, as soon as I wrote this code, this thing has started to appear. Can you see this? This thing. I think I should, yeah. Now it will be visible. Okay. See, as soon as I wrote this JavaScript basics, this started to appear in the web page. Okay. If you change the text, you'll see it will show that also. I write only JavaScript and see it is showing JavaScript here. Okay. So this is the first way how we display output. Now let's dive deep into this, like how what the code is saying. Okay. First of all, you see there the word document. Now what this word document is. To understand this, you'll have to understand a concept which is called DOM manipulation, which you'll learn about in detail in the next session. Because for that you have to learn some advanced topics and some things like functions and objects, which I think which will be covered in the next session only. So as of now, you just suppose that document is a way through which we are accessing our HTML element. Then we're using this function get element by ID. Now I think this is self-explanatory because it tells what it is doing. It is getting the element, it is accessing the element by its ID, which is demo. And in that function, we have passed the argument as string, which is demo. So by passing this, we are telling this function that access this, we're telling this function, to access this element. Okay. Are you guys following along with me? I need thumbs up in the chat. I want thumbs up in the chat. I want thumbs up in the chat. Quickly guys, quickly. Thumbs up in the chat. देखो जितनी जल्दी जल्दी तुम लोग को फॉलो अराउंड करोगे, समझ जाओगे, तो लास्ट में फिर एक छोटा सा डाउट सेशन रखेंगे जहाँ तुम्हारे डाउट भी क्लियर कर सकेंगे, और अगर तुम्हें कोई और भी डाउट्स हो अपार्ट फ्रॉम स्टडीज एंड कोडिंग तो वो भी पूछ सकते हैं. इट्स नॉट जस्ट कि हमसे तुम्हें कोडिंग टेक्निकलिटी की बात करेंगे सर, बट वी कैन टॉक अबाउट लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. सो जितनी जल्दी ये खत्म होगा उतनी जल्दी हम उस बात पे जा सकते हैं. सो या ओके, सो you guys are following along with me. So, as we have discussed, by using this function get element by ID and passing the demo, which is the name of the ID, we are accessing this element. Now, what this inner HTML does? This inner HTML is accessing the content, the content in this tag. See, this is the P is the HTML tag, and the space here, this space, this is where the content of P tag will be placed, right? So this inner HTML is accessing this place. That is why when you access this and write something, and assign something in it, it is being shown here in the P tag. And yeah, don't be shy. You can drop your questions while we are doing this. It's not like that I'll take all the doubts in the end, but yeah, you can drop your doubts here also in the chat. We'll take care of that. So, a quick recap. Document is accessing the HTML element. Get element by ID is helping us determine which HTML element we have to access, and inner HTML is helping us access the content of that HTML element. And by assigning something to it, we are assigning the value in that content, right? In that space of content. So you can write anything. I'm writing my name. See, it's visible here. Okay. So this is one way of displaying output. Now let's jump to another way. But before that, I would like to comment this out so that we can move forward. The next way is by using document.write. Okay, my GitHub Copilot is showing it, first time. Okay, we'll do it on our own. Okay? So document.write is another way of displaying your output through which is usually done using when you're testing. Okay, when you're testing. So what I'll do, I'll write document.write and let's just say we write Avengers. All right. See, as soon as I wrote Avengers in it, it is showing Avengers here. You guys can see, I think. Yeah. So as soon as I wrote Avengers here, it is appearing in the web page. If I change the text, the changes I make will also appear. I deleted this. It is showing Aven now. I write GDSC IIIT Kalyani. And it is showing GDSC IIIT Kalyani now. So we are going good. Now the next method. Oh, I have to comment this out manually. Okay. The next method is by using window.alert. Now, what window.alert does? It helps you create an alert box. Now, what is an alert box? It will be better that you see it yourself. You'll be able to understand it better. Okay. So I simply write window.alert and I write welcome to Web Wonders Weekly. Welcome to Web Wonders Weekly. And see, if I reload this page, see, this is an alert box. Whatever you wrote in that alert box, it is being showing. It is being shown here. Okay. So this is how you can make some alert boxes using window.alert. Also, there's another thing. If you remove this window tag, it will still work. Yeah, if you remove this window word, it will still work because window is a global object. So everything inside JavaScript is like comes under the window object. Then we move forward. With console.log. Now console.log is very much important because in JavaScript this is something that you'll be using a lot. Like it is something which we use for debugging purposes, and this is something you'll use very frequently. So it will be like your best friend during your JavaScript coding. So let's write something. Okay, I'll write an example for you. Console.log. And what it exactly does, we'll talk about it after I show it to you. Okay, so I write Web Wonders Weekly. All right, you say there's nothing which is appearing on the web page, right? You say there's nothing. Okay, how does document.write know where to put the text? Okay, document.write is something which we use for testing, and it erases all the past HTML elements when you write on it. Okay, when you enter the document.write, it deletes all the past HTML tags in that place, and covers that. It writes on it. Then we go to okay. So you must be asking on console.log. You must be asking where is what we wrote, Web Wonders Weekly. It is nowhere on the page, right? So you go on your web page, you right click, and then you click on inspect. There you see console. Okay, you click on that, and here it is, Web Wonders Weekly. There you can see Web Wonders Weekly. Are you guys seeing? Okay, lover of humanity. What does document mean? Thing is, document something. It is better that you tackle document when we talk about DOM manipulation, so that you can have a better insight on it. As of now, you can picture it. You can picture it a way in which you can access your HTML. Okay, HTML content. So that's how we did in that also. Document.getElement, right? We used document object, and we used the function getElement by ID to access a particular element by its ID name, and then we access its content using inner HTML. So as of now, you just picture document as something through which we can access the HTML content. Okay. Yeah, console. We're talking about it. See, console is a place where all your errors, whatever you do, it will be shown here. You can see on your terminal in your VS Code. There's also a section called debug console. You can see debug console. So whatever error you have and mishappenings in your code, you will see it here, and you can tackle it accordingly by seeing the error messages here. And whatever you log out in the console, whatever you are passing in the console, it will be visible here only. See, in the web page. Focus on the web page, not on the VS Code debug console, because we'll move to that later. See, Web Wonders Weekly. All right. If you change it, let's play with the text. I can even pass an expression here. If I pass 5 plus 6, see, it is showing 11. So in the console.log, you can pass anything which you want to see in your console, which will help you determine if your code is working or not. You'll understand better when you actually put JavaScript in your, in web development and all, when you're actually using it in developing websites, So you'll put console somewhere to check if the code before the console part is actually working or not. Because if it is going through, if there's no error in that code, only then it will reach to the console, right? So that's how you usually use console for debugging. So these are like some of the methods by which you can display output in JavaScript. Now we move to comments. I hope most of you like know what comments are. Comments are basically passed to passed like a message. They are like a message of what the code does, or whatever you will pass in comments, like whatever you want the coder to know. Whoever is reading the code, whatever they need to know about the code, you pass to the comments. In JavaScript, you can write comments in two ways. If you're writing just a single line comment, you can use the two times forward slash. Okay, you'll use double forward slash, and you can write a single line comment. When you want a multi-line comment, you do this. See, forward slash, asterisk, and to end terminated, asterisk and another forward slash. Now, whatever you write between this is a multi-line comment. Doesn't matter how much line it covers, but between this and this lies a multi-line comment. So that's how you write comments in JavaScript. Now about semicolons. Semicolons, you do not have to requirely use semicolons because JavaScript works without semicolons. It doesn't need it, but you should use it. It is a good practice to improve the readability of the code, and you'll be able to structure your code better and understand yourself also. Because let's just say you wrote something in JavaScript and you're looking at it 10 days later, you might forget what this piece of code does, and things many things you can forget its identification and all. So for that, you should use semicolons to improve the readability of the code. So yeah, that's how we have covered the output part. Then we move on to the next thing, which is we have covered output, comments, and we move on to variables. For this, I have another thing ready for you. We turn to variables. Now, what are variables? How does console help? Okay, lover of humanity, I just explained how does console help. Console, you maximum time you use it for debugging purposes. Let's just say you did no, yeah, we can code through console. Yes, we can. Okay, let's just say you have written this much code of JavaScript. It is doing something. Let's just say it is adding an animation in your HTML on your web page. Okay, so to check it, I'm just giving an example. Okay, there will be many examples why you use console.log, but that's like a basic example I'm trying to give you. You have this piece of code in JavaScript, and you put a console.log here, a message that this code is running. Okay, so if the code is okay, if there's nothing wrong with the code, there's no error in that code, only then it will display the console log message, right? Am I right? Okay, there's a chart I can see. Okay, if you could understand this lover of humanity, I hope it helped you. Like, only if there's no error in that code, there's no problem with that code, only then it will reach to the console log message, right? So that's how you use console log. Yes, we can work on console as well. Come to that also. As of now, we were in JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript variables. Now, what are variables? Variables are basically containers in which you can store your data, and there are mainly four ways in which you can store, which you can declare variables. Okay, first way. The first way is automatically. You just write the name of variable. You just write the name of variable and assign the value to it. And JavaScript will automatically determine which type of variable it is. Okay. Then the next thing is var. Okay. Var is another keyword which you use to declare a variable. Then let, and then const. All these three have different purpose, and they have different purposes. Let's just say we talk about var. Okay, there's another thing. Var, let, and const. There's a very deep difference between them, which we'll talk about after you learn about functions and scope. Because it will be better if you learn them and you'll be able to understand these concepts better, var, let, and const. But as of now, we'll just give you a brief introduction as to what is var, let, and const so that you can move ahead. What var does, var helps you to declare a variable globally. Now, tell me in the chat how many of you don't know what does globally term mean? You know what does the term globally mean? I see nothing in the chat. Either my internet is not, you know, either my internet is weak, or it's no one. Or does everybody know what does globally mean? Don't know, sir. Okay, you don't know what globally means. Okay, global is basically scope of a variable. Okay, scope. Let's just say how I define scope. Scope is, let's just say, simple a part. You know, a part of the code or the file, in which part the variable is, its value can be accessed. So can you see this? We start writing our code here. Whatever we do, we'll do in this area. Okay. So let's just say this. I declare x is equals to 5. Okay. See, I declare let not let just say x is equals to 6, and then I do this. And then I'm also logging it out here. Okay. So what we have done here, we have declared a variable x which is equal to 6, and then we have declared we have declared a block using parenthesis. We have declared a block using parenthesis. I guess you can see this, guys. See, this is a block using parentheses which we have declared, and inside that we have altered the value of x to 5, and then we have logged it out in the console. And outside that block we have again logged it out. Okay, we have again logged it out by letter. In this we have used var keyword, and inside the block I have used the let keyword. Let's see what it does, what the output comes out, so that we can understand better how var and let works. Okay, I'll run it. Okay, I have not commented them out. I have to comment that out because they are already declared. Okay. See, first time I have logged this out here inside the block, and inside the block I have altered the value of x to 5, right? So it is printing 5, but when I am logging it out outside the block, it is still printing the previous value, which is 6. Why is that? Because var assigns the value 6 to x globally. Wherever, in whichever part of the code you will write console.log, it will print x is equal to 6. But inside this block, where we have changed its value has become x, but only until this block, inside this block. I hope you guys understood this. Var declared the value of x globally, whereas let declared the value of x inside these block, inside scope of variable. Now, this block in which this variable is declared, its value is declared 5. This is the scope of this variable, which means only under this scope the value of x will be 5. Outside this and before this, it is 6. That's why it is printing 5 first and then 6. I hope you're able to understand the meaning of var and let. If you have, please spam like in the chat. Guys, I need to see your reviews in the chat, so I can interact with you. So you have to constantly, whenever I say spam something in the chat, you have to say. If you got this var and let, please tell me. Please spam like or whatever heart or whatever emoji you want to write. Please put it in the chat. So var and let are clear to you. Then we move on to const. Const is basically how you declare a constant. The value of const will not change. It's simply simple as that. Const is a short form for constant. So you declare a constant variable using const. So now we move on to operators. As we are done with variables, we move on to operators. Now, what are operators? Operators are characters which you use to perform some operations. Now, there are different kinds of operation: arithmetical, assignment operation, comparison operations, logical operations, which you perform using those operators. Okay. For JavaScript has different kind of operators. Okay. First, we go with arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operators perform all the mathematical things you must know as of now. Like if you know any coding language already, then you must know what is arithmetic operators. Okay, so we'll see what these different operators does. This is like in arithmetic operator, this is addition, then subtraction, then multiplication, this is division, this is mod, this is increment, this is decrement, and this is exponentiation. Okay, so we'll see how these operators work. I simply just console log and add 8 plus 2. Then we'll run it. See, it's printing 10. 8 plus 2. So this addition operator, simply it adds two operands. Okay. Then minus 2. See, it's printing 6. It was obvious. All of you must know already. It's like बच्चों का खेल है, क्यों सर टाइम पास कर रहे हो, है ना? जल्दी से निपटा दे क्या, अगर ज़्यादा टाइम पास हो रहा है तो इसमें. If you use multiplication, oh, see, this asterisk in coding language is multiplication. Okay, if anyone is not like bilkul scratch se beginner hai koi, so that's why I mentioned. See, it's printing 16. 8 into 2 is 16. We all know that. Then next is division. Division is denoted by this forward slash. You all guys know already what is going to be printed. It's 4, so there's nothing to be amazed. Then this mod. What does this mod do? Okay, this is something they have to focus on. See, I have written 8 mod 5. Now, to understand better what it does, we'll first run this. See, it is printing 3. It is printing 3. Okay. Why it is printing 3? Because what this mod does, this shows the remainder. This shows the remainder that we'll obtain after dividing this from this. I think I need to increase the font size. Will be better, right? I'm making it 24. Yep, I think it's good. 26. I think it's visible, right? I'm increasing the space. Yeah. So when you divide 8 by 5, the remainder that you get, you will obtain this by using mod. Okay, so that is why we've gotten 3 here. 8 mod 5 is 3. Then we move on to the next operator. We move on to increment. Yep, this is very important. We delete all this and let's just say we declare var x is equals to 5 and we log out console.log plus x, which means now let's see what it will print, because what it will print, it will give you an idea what plus plus or increment operator does. I run it and it's printing 6. I think you're able to get it, but let me type it down there. Plus x is or x plus plus is same as x is equals to x plus 1. Okay, it basically increments it by 1, increments the variable by 1. Now you'll say, is there a difference? Is there a difference between plus x and x plus plus? Yes, there is. This is called pre-increment and this is called post-increment. Now what this does, I can explain to you by using the console log again. Okay, I delete this. See, here I have used plus plus x, which is pre-increment. Okay, and it printed 6. If I change the position of plus plus and I make it post increment, see, it is printing 5. You make it post increment and then I run it, it's printing 5. Now you'll ask why it's not incrementing its value, because see, what post increment does, it first gives the value and then increment it, you know. But pre-increment first increases the value by 1, then passes it. So while we are writing this, by pre-incrementing it, we are first incrementing the value to 6 and then passing it to console log. But when we do this, we are first passing the value of x, which is already 5, and then incrementing it. So see, that is why in the first statement it did not increment it by 1, but in the next statement it is 6. So that's how post increment and pre increment works. I hope it is clear to you guys, because post increment and pre increment is important thing, you know. बारीक बारीक चीजें होती हैं, सब छूट जाती हैं, तो you should not miss out on that. Same goes for decrement operator. Minus minus stands for decrement operator. Since we have spent so much time on increment operator, I guess it is clear to you what decrement operator may do. Simply run it. It has become 4. Decrement operator simply decreases the value of the variable by 1, and it has also post increment and post decrement and pre decrement thing in it. So you have to take care of that. Here also, if I do this, you'll see in the first line the value is still 5, but in the next log it is 4. So this is what post decrement does. Pre increment, obviously pre increment, it first pre decrement it first decreases the value of the variable by 1, and then it passes to the log, but to the console. But what post decrement does, it first passes the value of x and then decreases it. Then we move on to exponentiation operator. Exponentiation is simple. We take two variables, okay, 5 and 2. Then I constant x. Okay, I hope you are able to picture this. If you are not, let me tell you, it is 5. 2. Okay, this statement denotes this. When we run this, it is showing 25, which was very obvious to you guys, because you know 5 की power 2 25 ही होता है. 5 का 25 सब कर रहे हैं जीवन में, बचपन से कोई नई बात नहीं है. This is what exponentiation operator is. Then we move on to assignment operators. What assignment operators do in a broad sense, they assign value. In a variable, they assign a value. Variable खाली है, उसको value दे दी गई है. That is what assignment operators do. So there are many assignment operators, equal to, then ये है, then ये है, then ये है. We'll cover them one by one and show what they do. Okay. First of all, this one. This is called XD. Yeah. Then we move on to assignment operator. Okay. Now this one, x equal to 5. You can see this. What this means? It is assigning the value 5 to the variable x, which means x has the value 5 now. It's simply doing that. Now, if we move on to this operator, remove this. We don't need this anymore. It's plus 5. Now you'll ask what this is doing. We'll find out. So let's print this and we'll find out what this operator does. See, it's printing 11. So, you see, you had declared var x is equal to 6, which means your languages have similar logic. Yes, exactly, level of humanity. Most programming languages have similar logic. It's not logic थोड़ा ना बदलेगा. Simply बताओ, सूरज ईस्ट से उगता है और पश्चिम में जाके डूबता है, so logic कभी नहीं बदलेगा. But yes, syntax changes. Lame joke, I know, but ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Yeah, so we were here. We have declared the variable x and assigned the value 6 to it. Then we have performed this. And after logging this out, it is printing 11. Why it is doing that? See, what this operator does, it is a shortcut of doing this. See, simply, this operator is a shortcut of doing this. So you can do this, or you can choose to do this. It's up to you. It's like आलसी हो तो ये कर लो, वरना ये कर लो, मर्जी है. It's all up to you. So this is simply what this operator does. It added 5. अगर मैं 5 की जगह कोई और नंबर डालता हूँ, let's just say मैं 5 की जगह डालता हूँ 12 डाल देता हूँ, ठीक है. Let's add 12. We run this. It's showing us 18, and 6 plus 12 we all know is 18. So this is what this operator does simply. Okay. Same goes for this. क्या करता होगा ये? अब तक तुम लोगों को ये समझ में आ ही चुका होगा. अगर मैं ज़्यादा इस पर टाइम वेस्ट तुम लोग बोलोगे कि ठीक है, आ गया, बोर हो रहे हैं, आगे बढ़ो. So इस पर ज़्यादा टाइम स्पेंड नहीं करेंगे, फटाफट से एक बार आउटपुट दिखा के आगे बढ़ते हैं, ठीक है. तो छोटा नंबर ले लेते हैं. We run it. It is giving 4. I think most of you expected कि ये 4 ही देना चाहिए, because 6 minus 2 4 होता है. Riyansh Jain. All right. ठीक है भाई. Okay, let's move on. Then we move on. Okay, we have covered this. We are covering this now. Okay? ये सब तुम्हें समझ में आ चुका होगा मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली, बिकॉज एक बार एक पे इतना टाइम स्पेंड कर दिया, अब तक क्लियर होगा ही. अब जब मैं यहाँ मल्टीप्लाई करके इक्वल लगा रहा हूँ तो ऑब्वियसली ये यही कर रहा होगा. शॉर्टकट ही है सब. क्या आना चाहिए आपको बताओ. स्पैम करो चैट में, आउटपुट तुम लोग स्पैम करो. स्पैम करो चैट में. व्हाट शुड बी द आउटपुट. मैं नहीं रन करूंगा, बताओ. अब तक तुम लोगों को समझ में आ जाना चाहिए. तो समझ में आ ही गया होगा, इतने तो समझदार हो. आई होप. Yep, you are right. It will give you the output 12. See, simple. Then we move on to the next one, which is this. ये भी तुम्हें बताओ कि ये क्या प्रिंट करेगा. Obviously, this is a shortcut for this. एंड बताओ क्या प्रिंट करेगा अभी. अब ये डिवीजन वाला क्या प्रिंट करेगा बताओ. आई एम वॉचिंग द चैट, सो यू बेटर लाइक फटाफट लिखो भाई. आई शुड नो ना तुम लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है. 3. यप, विल प्रिंट 3. इट इज प्रिंटिंग 3. 4 points to the friend over. Okay, then we move on to this. मॉड लगा देते हैं. ये भी पता होगा, तुम लोग ही बताओगे इसका आउटपुट. मैंने मॉड लगा दिया यहाँ पे. अब क्या आना चाहिए बताओ. बताइए क्या आना चाहिए. इसको एक बार पिक्चराइज कर लेते ताकि समझ में आएगा. राइट, x की वैल्यू 6 थी, तो 6 mod 2, बेसिकली 6 mod 2 कहना चाह रहा है. तो इसका आउटपुट क्या आना चाहिए बताओ. आप लोग बताओगे. एग्जैक्टली 0 आना चाहिए. सी शोइंग 0. वी गोइंग गुड. देन दिस इज एक्सपोनेंशियल. ये भी समझ में आएगा एक्सपोनेंशिएशन. ये भी फटाफट तुम्हें बताओ. फटाफट मैं बस आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग यू गाइस टू डू इट सो दैट तुम लोग समझ पाओ जल्दी से, है ना. 6 की पावर 2, 6 का स्क्वायर याद है. Oh, mod is remainder. Yeah, I explained it earlier. I think Samriddhi has joined a bit late. You can, rewind and check. I'll explain what mod is in detail. Yeah, 36. Yep, Vakas, 36. Printed, it's 36. Simple. It was a piece of cake for every one of you. Then we move on to comparison operator. They are what its name suggests. They are used for comparison. In coding, you use equal to for assignment and double equal to for actually expressing equal to. Okay, so this one is not equal to in coding. This is assignment operator and this is equal to operator. Okay, this you use to check if both the operands on both the sides, on both the sides of the operator are equal or not. Then this is not equal to. Okay, not equal to. This operator you use to check if this is not equal to this or not. Okay, let's just take some examples. Let's just say 5 is not equal to 6. Okay, is 5 equal to 6? Tell me. स्पैम करो चैट में. क्या 5 6 के बराबर है? सी 5 6 के बराबर नहीं, तो ऑब्वियसली क्या प्रिंट करना चाहिए इसको? 5 इज नॉट इक्वल टू 6 को क्या प्रिंट करना चाहिए? ट्रू प्रिंट करना चाहिए. सिंपल. सो नॉट इक्वल टू ऑपरेटर चेक करता है कि ये लेफ्ट वाला राइट वाले के इक्वल नहीं है कि नहीं है. समझ रहे हो? है नहीं, नहीं है कि नहीं है ना. इफ इट इज इक्वल तो फिर डामाडोल फॉल्स प्रिंट होगा ऑब्वियसली. सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी. देन वी मूव ऑन टू ग्रेटर देन. ये सब तो सिंपल ऑपरेटर्स हैं. यू मस्ट हैव एनकाउंटर्ड देम. इज 5 ग्रेटर देन 5? क्या मैं खुद से ही बड़ा हो जाऊंगा? क्या कोई खुद से ही बड़ा हो सकता है? कोई नंबर की बात चल रही है ऑब्वियसली. स्पैम इन द चैट. 5 ग्रेटर देन 5 क्या प्रिंट होना चाहिए? बताइए योर ऑनर. Yep, 5 is not greater than. It will print false, obviously. It's printing false. Okay. वहीं अगर मैं 5 is greater than 2 कर देता हूँ, it will print true. See. Similarly goes for less than operator. Okay. Less than. This will obviously print false because 5 is not less than 2. Okay. Similarly, if I put 0 here, now this will print true. See, it's printing true. Then this is greater than and equal to operator. Now, what these two operator does, they don't just check if the operator is greater than or less than, but it also checks if it is equal. So it takes two conditions into consideration. Okay. So for better explanation, if I do this. Okay, when we did this, it printed false, right? When we did this, it printed false. But if I add equal to after this, what do you think it will print? What do you think it will print? Quickly, spam the chat. Quickly. True, right? It will print true. Similarly, if we do less than, let's just say 10 कर देते हैं. See, it is printing true because obviously 5 is less than 10. But if I do this and if I remove this equal to, see, it is using false. It is printing false. Okay. Because obviously 10 is not less than 10, but when I add this to it, See, it's printing true. Simply. So this operator checks not just that if it is greater or less than that, but also checks if it is equal to. Then we move on to logical operators. Then we move on to logical operators. Okay. Now, what logical operator does? They check the logic. Obviously, the name suggests logical operator logic check करता है. कैसे check करता है? We'll understand by example. Okay. So let's just say हमने लिया we have taken a variable where x is equals to, let's just say we take 8. बहुत टाइम से हम 5 ले जा रहे हैं. And then we take no, we just take this. Okay, we check console.log. Okay, x is less than 10 and x is greater than 0. All right, so we'll first take this and operator. Okay, this and I'm saying ampersand. This is and operator. Okay, and logical operator. It checks both the conditions on its side. Okay, what it will do, I'll explain later when we see the output first. Okay, it's printing true. Now why? Because x, which has the value of 8, we know that 8 is less than 10 as well as 8 is greater than 0. Since both the conditions are true, it is printing true. But what if I change this to this? I change that x should be less than 10 and x should be less than 0. Is that a condition which is true? Yes. Okay. Guys, tell me, do you think will this statement return true or false? What will this return? Spam in the chat quickly. Since nobody is doing, I'm going to run this. This is returning false because 8 is less than 10, but it is not less than 0. One of the condition is false, so it's returning false as a whole. So you should know about this and that whenever one of the condition it is false, it will return false only. It will return true only when both the conditions are true. That is why it was returning true here only. Otherwise, if I change anything, let's just say I keep it intact, but I change this, x should be greater than 10, it will print false. See, it's printing false. Okay. Then we move on to this operator. This is called the OR operator. Okay. Now what it does, let's check. I take this expression only and I just change ampersand by this. Now x should be greater than 10 or x should be greater than 0. Now, if we run this, we find true because yes, the value of 8 is greater than is not greater than 10, but it is greater than 0. While you're doing OR checks if any one of the condition is true, it will return true. OR is kind of opposite of AND in this scenario. Like in AND, you saw if any one condition is false, it will print false. If any one condition is true, it will print true. It will print true. So that's what happens in OR. If you print any, if there is anything which is true, it will return true only. It will return false only when both the conditions are false. Okay. Let's just say x is 8. X is less than 6. See, so we are passing the condition here. X is less than 6 and x is greater than 0. I'll also change this. X is greater than, I say 100. Let's just make 200. Okay. So here you can see x is less than 6, which is false, and x is greater than 100. Both conditions are false. When I run this, It is printing false because the conditions on both the sides of the operator are false. That is why it is printing false. As I mentioned earlier also, कि और जो है it prints true if like any one of the condition on either side of the operator is true, and return false only when the operand on the both side of the operator returns true. Okay. Then comes bitwise operator. These are like the operators which you apply on bits. Bits is something which kind of you learn later on. So as of now, you should just know that these are kind of operator. This is and, this is or, this is XOR operator. This is not. This is left shift. This is right shift. And then ternary operators. Then type operator, type of instance of. These are like something which you'll learn later. As of now, you should just know that these kind of operators exist. So that's how we ended with operators. And then we move on to data types. We'll quickly go through data types and we can move on to our next part of the session, which is like loops and if-else statements. Okay. We move on to data types. JavaScript has 7 types of data types. I edited. First is like string. Strings are characters and some different alphabets, characters, which all comes under string. How you write string? There are different ways. First of all, you can use double quotes. Let's try to write here. Okay. See, this is one way of writing. There's another way by using single quotes. You can do the same. And third way is by using backticks. You can write string in all these 3 ways, using double quotes, single quotes, or using backticks. Then we move on to number. In JavaScript, you do not have specifically like in other programming languages. You must have seen right now, like you have int, you have double, you have floating point. But in JavaScript, you have number data type, which includes all these things. You know, your integer, your floating, and your exponential numbers also. Then big int obviously defines what it is. Big integer, like large integers which are out of the scope of number, you put them in big int. Then we move on to Boolean. Boolean have only two values, true and false. Then we come to an important thing, which is undefined. What does undefined means? Whenever you declare a variable and you do not assign any value to it, that variable has a value called undefined, which means it cannot be defined simply. Even if there is something, we cannot define it what it is. जैसे वो 0 by 0 करके बोलते हैं undefined, something like that. You can relate. This was just to make you relate. Okay. Then null. Null basically denotes कुछ नहीं है, empty, खाली, खत्म, कुछ नहीं है. That's it. It's like it shows absence of any value. Then there's a thing called object. What object is? See, I think I should write it here. Give you a better experience. Okay. Objects are like when you have a key and an associated value to it. So let's just say I have a key x and I have a value given. Then let's just say who's there in the chat. Tamagna, I can see. Tamagna Chaudhary. Then I write Z and I write Samriddhi. So what object is basically, okay, I should change this, whatever. You can directly declare this. Yeah. Okay. So what object is? See, you can see there is a key and an associated value to it. So the X has value associated with key, Y has value associated with it Tamagna, Z has associated value with it Samriddhi. Okay. So that's what object denotes. We'll cover objects in a deeply in the next session, upcoming session. The upcoming session includes functions and objects in detail. So you'll go in depth, in very great detail. So as of now, you should just know that these are the things which you'll encounter later. Inside object, you can put arrays also. You can even put object inside object. Like let's just say here I put another object and See, so inside this object there's another object. So you inside the object you can put object, array, whatever. Okay, so that's what my name's there. Yep. You are frequently showing up in the chat, so your name will be there. So that's how we end with data types. Now, alright, please bear with us. Um, Sorry for the noise. Let's move forward. So we have covered one part. Now we move forward to next one. See this. Can you recognize this? Can you guys recognize this? Your mom who have come to bargain. Does this ring any bell? कहीं तो देखा होगा. Spam in the chat. कहाँ देखा है? बोलो भाई, मार्वल वार्वल नहीं देखते क्या? क्या थकी हारी जिंदगी जी रहे हो? Yep, Doctor Strange. Why I have put this here? Because in the upcoming section we're going to learn about conditional statements and loops. Okay, why? Because this scene in Marvel is something which you will relate to while you're understanding loops. The Doctor Strange ने डोरमामू को फंसा रखा था. डोरमामू, I have come to bargain. Same way, you can repeat one piece of code again and again and again, and as much as however you want. Okay, we'll come to that. So, right, let's jump into it. First of all, we start with conditional statements. Now, what are conditional statements? The name suggests itself. Whenever you're writing code and you want that a piece of code executes only if it satisfied a condition, that's when you use conditional statements. Now, there are different ways you can do that. First is the if statement. Okay, so I have given an example here. The variable x has a value 5, and I am writing if x is greater than 3, then console.log out x is greater than 3. Okay. Okay. So what this piece of code means? Only when the value of x is greater than 3, this will be printed. Okay. If I change the value, this will not be printed. I'll show you by example. After running it, I'm commenting these out so that you can see a clear picture in the console. Okay. Yep. So running this, and it's printing x is greater than 3 because yes, x is actually greater than 3. If I change this value to 3, not 3, yep, 3. Do you think it will print it? Do you think it will print anything? I should write console.log here so that you can see. If I run this, see, it is printing x is not greater than 3. It did not even go into this piece of code, okay, because it did not satisfy this condition. X is 3, but it is not greater than 3, so it did not go into this piece of code and directly printed out this. This is how you use if statement. Now let's just say you have a piece of code which you want to execute if a certain condition is followed. But if it is not followed, there's another certain piece of code which you want to be followed if this condition is not satisfied. For that you use the else statement. So now we move on to the else statement. Okay. For that I'm gonna uncomment this. There's an example ready for you guys here. And I'm gonna comment this as of now. So, okay. So we have assigned value 5 to x, and then we're writing if x is greater than 3, this will be passed into the log x is greater than 3. Okay, but if it is not, else, if it is not, else, in else condition we have passed x is less than or equal to 3. Now when I run this, it's printing x is greater than 3 because it is satisfying the condition, the if condition, so it entered the if block. But if I change it to 3 and then I run this, it is printing x is less than or equal to 3, which it is. So what to understand from this? It did not even go into this block and directly executed this. So this is how you put conditions into your code. You want certain conditions to be followed, and for that you use if-else statement. Let's just say we have more number of conditions. Here you see there's only two conditions like if and else. Let's just say we have more number of conditions. What we'll do then? We use else if. There's another statement which exists, which is else if. Okay. Now we'll learn how to use else if statement. Okay. I should lower this a bit. Pura screen यही clear ले रहा है. ठीक है. Now see, this is more defined. We have passed x is equal to 5. In the if statement, we have passed the condition x is greater than 0, which means if x is greater than 0, it will enter into this, it will log out this. If it is less than 0 or 3, it will log out this. And if it is equal to, if both these conditions are not met, any of these conditions are not met, we all know inherently that if it is not greater than 3, if it is not less than 3, then equal ही होगा. ये तो एक 5 साल के बच्चे को भी समझ में आ रहा होगा कि भाई 3 से बड़ा नहीं है, 3 से छोटा नहीं है, तो 3 है. ठीक है. तो दोनों में से कंडीशन फॉलो नहीं हो रही है, तो वो यहीं जाएगा. ठीक है. So let's see what it prints. When करने पे it is printing x is greater than 3. Okay. If I change this to 2, it is printing x is less than 3, which is here in the else if statement. Okay. Else if statement. If I change it to exactly 3, it is printing x is equal to 3, which means it is going in this block of code. Okay. So you saw this, that by using else if statement, you can define a condition even in a better way. You can give more conditions and define them. I hope if else is clear. Now let's just say you have a condition like you have many else if conditions, like hundreds of lines are filled with else if condition. इतने सारे भर के like पूरा तुमने भर दिया else if करके. एक इसके अलावा better approach भी तो exist करती हो, which you can use instead of लगातार else if भर दो पूरा. For that you use the switch statement, which we are moving on to now. The switch statement. Okay. जहाँ पर तुम बहुत सारी कंडीशन दे पाओगे इन अ प्रॉपर वे. एल्स इफ स्टेटमेंट में भरने से ज्यादा अच्छा करके रीडेबिलिटी में इंप्रूव करेगा कोड की. सो we have x is equal to 5. Okay, and then we use the switch keyword, and we're passing the variable which we want to check, whose value we want to check in the bracket, in the parenthesis. And switch has cases. Okay, switch has cases. And what does this case do? This case checks if the value written in front of ahead of the case, if x of the passed variable has that value, then it will enter in this block. Otherwise, if it is met, this value is met, it will enter in this block. If it is met by this value, it will enter in this block. And if कोई भी कहीं भी नहीं मैच हो रहा है वैल्यू, तो डिफॉल्ट में चला जाएगा. समझ रहे हो? कहीं नहीं कुछ मिल रहा है तो अरेंज मैरिज तो है ही, राइट? तो लाइक दैट. Here you are seeing the value is 5. So when we run it, we'll see it's printing x is not 1, 2 or 3, which is the default value, because obviously it was not 1, it was not 2, it was not 3. So obviously it will go into the default case. That's how we use the switch statement. Then we're done with the switch statement. Now we move on to the loops. Obviously जिसके लिए मैंने ये मीम यहाँ लगाया है, the loop. Now what happens in the loop? Okay. Now what happens in the loop? Let's just say Dr. Singh ने क्या हुआ था? You saw that he came to Dormammu with a proposition. ठीक है? And Dormammu मना कर देता है, उसे मार देता है, simply खल्लासी कर देता है. Obviously the same could happen to you. अगर तुम्हारा कोड तुम्हें खल्लास कर दे तो खल्लास तुम्हें भी हो सकते हो तुम. ठीक है? Then ऑब्वियसली तो वो क्या करता है, बार बार डोरमामू को एक लूप में फंसा चुका होता है, डोरमामू से बार बार मारता है, he comes again and he asks the same question. He asked the same question that Dormammu have come to bargain. I've come to bargain. Same statement, same scenario, same situation बार बार हो रही होती है, and चाहे वो कितना कोशिश कर ले बार बार हो रही होती है. तो Dormammu was stuck in a loop created by Dr. Strange. In the same way, you can also create loops in your code when you want to execute a certain piece of code again and again for a certain number of time, or as long as you want a certain condition to be followed. Okay. So let's jump into it and move on to loops. Okay. See, loops are handy if you want to run the same code over and again, over again, each time with a different value. Okay. So there are two types of loop. Okay. When you're looping something, either you know how many times it should loop, how many times the same piece of code should repeatedly be executed, or you have a condition that the loop or the piece of code should be executed as long as this condition is followed. So based on that, we have two loops in JavaScript: for loop and while loop. And if you're already learning a programming language, you might know what is for loop and while loop. So let's get into it. Let's just say we have an array here. Okay, x is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6. Those who don't know array is like we have collection of different values stored in a single variable. Okay, basically you can understand like that. It is collecting continuous values and storing them. Okay, so we are passing a loop. Okay, for I is equal to 0. I is any variable. Okay, I is the loop variable. I is the variable we are using in the loop for iterating through each values, which means for going through each of these values. Okay, ये array है, इसमें सारी values हैं, और उन values से go through होने के लिए हम एक variable ले रहे हैं जो कि है I is equal to 0, जो कि हम for loop में ले रहे हैं. ठीक है, I is equal to 0 जो कि हम for loop में ले रहे हैं, जो कि इन सब values से pass हो रहा होगा और हमें help करेगा इन values के साथ जो मर्जी हमें करना है, छेड़खानी करनी है, update करना है, हटाना है, बताना, जो मर्जी करना है. ठीक है, तो for loop, in the for loop you pass three things. First, the variable which you use to iterate through the values. Then the condition कि वो कब तक करेगा, how long, because the thing with for loop is that you should already know कि कितने बार आपको loop कराना है, how many times you want it to loop. Okay, so you pass कि कहाँ से start हो रहा है और कहाँ तक कितनी बारों से loop करना है. ठीक है, here we are passing x dot length. What is x dot length? X is this array dot length, which means इस array की length, यानी कि जितने भी इसमें elements हैं सब में से loop करेगा एक बार, सब में से एक बार loop करेगा. And how it should update, obviously ये variable है, ये इस loop में आया. ठीक है, सॉरी array में आया, array की value में आया, and then उसने ये value को access कर लिया. बट अब वो आगे कैसे बढ़ेगा, उसे क्या पता कि इसे अगले value में जाना है या अगले के अगले value में जाना है. For that you pass an update condition here. Okay, so this I plus plus is an update condition. What this plus plus denoted, I guess you guys remember. We talked about it a few minutes ago. थोड़ी देर पहले बात की थी. This is increment operator. What it is basically doing, I0 से start हो रहा है, यानी कि यहाँ से start हो रहा है with 1 and इसकी length तक जाएगा और हर बार एक एक value से iterate करेगा, एक एक value से iterate करेगा, and then it is consoling the value out. Okay, logging that value out in the console. उस particular array के ith index पे, index basically क्या होता है, जैसे ये I है, जैसे 1 है. ठीक है, तो 1 इस array में first index पे है, फर्स्ट इंडेक्स को 0 से डिनोट करते हैं, 0th इंडेक्स. देन ये फर्स्ट इंडेक्स हुआ, 2 जो हुआ फर्स्ट इंडेक्स में आया. ठीक है, 3 जो है वो सेकंड इंडेक्स में आया, फिर थर्ड इंडेक्स में, फोर्थ इंडेक्स में, फिफ्थ इंडेक्स में, ऐसे चलता रहता है. ठीक है, सो क्या कर रहा है, ये क्या कर रहा है, ये एक्स एरे के ith इंडेक्स वाली वैल्यू को एक्सेस कर रहा है, उसको लॉक कर देगा सिंपली. तो हम देखते हैं कि ये आउटपुट क्या प्रिंट करता है. इससे पहले ये सब भी कमेंट देम ऑल आउट. See, it is printing simply. उसने 1 से लेकर 10 तक वैल्यू प्रिंट कर दी जो कि हमने इस एरे में भरी थी. What this for loop is doing? I से शुरू किया एंड देन प्रिंट करता चला गया. ओके, 10 तक, उसकी लेंथ तक प्रिंट किया उसने पूरा. Yep. So that's how for loop works. Then we quickly jump on to while loop. What while loop does? ओके। वाइल, वाइल से क्या होता है कि जब तक, वाइल का हिंदी मीनिंग ट्रांसलेट क्या होता है कि जब तक, या जब तक ये हो रहा है कि वाइल आई एम ड्रिंकिंग मिल्क, तब तक मैं बैठ जाता हूँ, तो जब तक मैं दूध पी रहा हूँ तब तक मैं बैठ जाता हूँ। लाइक दिस इज हाउ वी ट्रांसलेट वाइल, राइट? तो सेम गोज फॉर वाइल लूप, कि जब तक ये कंडीशन फॉलो हो रही है तब तक उसके अंदर जो पीस ऑफ कोड है वो बार बार एग्जीक्यूट होता रहेगा। So that's what while loop does, and let's see how it does it. Okay. So हमने यहाँ पर ये array already declare कर दिया है, इसमें 10 1 से 10 तक values हैं, and we're creating a variable I is equal to 0 which we'll use to iterate through the values of x. Okay. Then we're passing a condition, जब तक i की वैल्यू x के लेंथ से कम है, यानी कि लास्ट वैल्यू तक जब तक जा रहा है तब तक उसे console डॉट लॉक करना है, और हर बार एक बार जब लॉक कर देगा तो वो नेक्स्ट वैल्यू पे जंप कर जाएगा। यप जब तक है जान। So when we print this, it's again printing from 1 to 10 because we have passed कि जब तक i की वैल्यू 0 से स्टार्ट होके उसके लेंथ तक नहीं जाती, 10 तक नहीं जाती, तब तक वो हर बार x की उस वैल्यू को जो कि उस इंडेक्स पे एग्जिस्ट करता है उसको लॉग आउट करता रहेगा, और लॉग आउट करने के तुरंत बाद उसे इंक्रीमेंट भी कर देगा। यानी कि यहाँ पर आया 1 को लॉग आउट किया तो इस ये प्लस प्लस हुआ तो ये इसमें चला गया i, देन इसको लॉग आउट किया, फिर प्लस प्लस हुआ, फिर यहाँ चला गया, फिर लॉग किया, फिर यहाँ चला गया, फिर लॉग किया, फिर यहाँ चला गया। दैट्स हाउ इट गोज, राइट? दैट्स हाउ व्हाइल लूप वर्क्स। सो थोड़ा चेंजेस करते हैं, ठीक है? लेट्स जस्ट से i की वैल्यू लेस देन 5 कर देते हैं, i की वैल्यू लेस देन 5 कर देते हैं, ठीक है? लेस देन 5 मतलब क्या होगा? i की वैल्यू 0 से स्टार्ट हुई है तो लेस देन 5 क्या होगा? 0 1 2 3 and 4, right? 0 1 2 3 and 4, these 5 values will be there because 5 से लेस है, 5 से लेस देन इक्वल टू नहीं है तो 5 इंक्लूड नहीं होगा। सो इट विल प्रिंट 5 तक, बिकॉज बताया था हमने एरे में इंडेक्सिंग 0 से स्टार्ट होती है। सो 1 इज एक्चुअली एट 0th इंडेक्स, 2 फर्स्ट इंडेक्स पे है, दिस इज इन सेकंड, थर्ड, फोर्थ एंड दिस इज फिफ्थ, बट फिफ्थ इंडेक्स को हमने इंक्लूड ही नहीं किया यहाँ पर। इट इज less I should be less than 5, not less than equal to, तो fifth index को include ही नहीं किया, so we are basically looping until this only. That's why it has printed 5. That's how while loops work. Then we move on to then we encountered a break statement. Okay, what does this break statement does? Break statement जैसा नाम है वैसा काम, ब्रेक लगा देता है simply, ठीक है? So let's try to understand this. We again have this array, okay? We again have this array which has values from 1 to 10. Then in the while loop we are passing the condition कि ये तब तक loop करना चाहिए जब तक ये लास्ट तक ना पहुंच जाता, ठीक है? उसके array के लेंथ के end तक नहीं पहुंच जाता, ठीक है? तब तक वहां तक ना पहुंच जाए तब तक वो वैल्यूज को console.log करता रहेगा। बट यहाँ पे हमने कंडीशन डाल दी है कि अगर जो वैल्यू है वो अगर 5 के बराबर है तो ब्रेक हो जाएगा। तो लेट्स सी प्रिंट क्या होगा, उसके बाद हम अच्छे से समझ पाएंगे उसे। यस समृद्धि, इट ब्रेक्स द लूप, वेरी गुड, पेइंग अटेंशन। सो सी व्हाट इट हैज डन, द ब्रेक स्टेटमेंट हैज एक्चुअली एज समृद्धि सेड, इट हैज ब्रोकन आउट ऑफ द लूप। बेसिकली हुआ क्या है, एक बार एरे को यहाँ कॉपी कर ले ताकि पास में आए तो दिखता रहेगा, बार बार ऊपर नीचे नहीं करना पड़ेगा। ओके, सो सी वी पास्ड i इज इक्वल टू 0 व्हिच मींस यहाँ से स्टार्ट किया एंड देन लेंथ तक चलना है, उसको चलना पूरा यहाँ तक है। लेकिन जैसे ही वो 5 वैल्यू हो जाएगी ना, उसकी वैल्यू यानी कि x की वैल्यू जैसे 5 हो जाएगी तभी बाहर आ जाएगा, उसको लॉग आउट नहीं करेगा, वो लूप से सीधा बाहर ही आ जाएगा। तो क्या किया उसने, 1 पे आया, ठीक है? उसने ये कंडीशन चेक करी, वो 1 पे आया, उसने ये कंडीशन चेक करी कि हाँ फॉलो कर रहा है, तो वो अंदर गया इसके, ठीक है? i के लिए 0 है, चेक किया ये है तो अंदर आया, तो फिर उसने चेक किया कि क्या x की वैल्यू जो ith इंडेक्स पे और i की वैल्यू 0 है अभी, ठीक है? एरे में ith इंडेक्स पे यानी 0th इंडेक्स पे की वैल्यू 1 है, क्या वो 5 के बराबर है? उसने देखा वो 5 के बराबर नहीं है, तो उसने इस ब्लॉक को एग्जीक्यूट ही नहीं किया, वो चला गया सीधा console.log में और उसने उस वैल्यू को कंसोल कर दिया और हमें मिल गया 1, ठीक है? एंड देन इंक्रीमेंट हो गई, वैल्यू अपडेट हो गई, देन वो अगेन यहाँ गया कंडीशन चेक करने, अब i की वैल्यू 1 हो चुकी है, 0 नहीं है, i की वैल्यू 1 हो चुकी है। वो यहाँ गया, उसने चेक किया क्या i की वैल्यू लेंथ ऑफ एरे से कम है? हाँ लेंथ का है तो पूरा 10 तक जा रहा है ना। यप विल गो ऑन टू कंटिन्यू स्टेटमेंट एज वेल। कंटिन्यू क्या करता है, पहले इसको कर लेते हैं, कंटिन्यू पे जाते हैं उसके बाद फिर। सो कहाँ पे थे हम यहाँ पे थे कि उसने अब आई की वैल्यू 1 हो चुकी है, यानी कि 0 से अपडेट होके 1 हो गई, ठीक है। इसने चेक किया क्या उसके लेंथ से कम है, विच इज ट्रू। तो इस ब्लॉक के अंदर गया और उसने चेक किया कि क्या एक्स एरे में फर्स्ट इंडेक्स पे जो वैल्यू है विच इज 2 इज इट इक्वल टू 5। उसने देखा नहीं है, फिर उसने छोड़ दिया इस स्टेटमेंट, इस ब्लॉक को कंसोल कर दिया, उसे वैल्यू को लॉग आउट कर दिया, 2 प्रिंट हो गया और इंक्रीमेंट हो गया। सेम चलता गया, 3 प्रिंट हुआ, 4 प्रिंट हुआ, बट व्हेन इट केम टू 5, जब व्हेन इट केम टू 5, विच मीन्स जब आई की वैल्यू 4 हुई, जब आई की वैल्यू 4 हुई यानी कि वो इस इंडेक्स पे आया, पी 0 1 2 3 एंड 4। जब वो फोर्थ इंडेक्स पे आया, क्या हुआ, वो इस इफ स्टेटमेंट पे आया एंड इट चेक्ड दैट द वैल्यू विच इज प्रेजेंट एट फोर्थ इंडेक्स इज इक्वल टू 5 एक्चुअली। सो ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई हुई, इफ स्टेटमेंट सेटिस्फाई हुआ तो वो इस ब्लॉक के अंदर गया और ब्रेक एनकाउंटर किया। ब्रेक मतलब क्या है भाई, लूप से ही निकल जाओ, उसको धक्के मार के निकाल दिया, किक आउट कर दिया उसे, ठीक है। ब्रेक यूज किया तो कंटिन्यू कर दिया उसने, ठीक है। सॉरी, ब्रेक आउट किया तो उसने निकाल दिया उसे लूप से। मैंने चैट में कंटिन्यू देखा तो मैंने मुझसे कंटिन्यू निकल गया, सॉरी गाइस। ब्रेक किया तो वो लूप से सीधा बाहर ही आ गया, इट केम आउट ऑफ लूप और लूप खत्म हो गया। दैट्स व्हाई इट प्रिंटेड ओनली अप टिल 4। यहीं पर अगर हम ब्रेक की जगह कंटिन्यू स्टेटमेंट लगा देते हैं, ठीक है, एंड देन वी प्रिंट इट, ओके, यू सी समथिंग should not works in my browser. Okay, it's my access, my browser is not working. My this is not running, okay, it's not running yet. I have to take it to the browser. Okay, let's take it to this because I don't know why it's not working in my browser, in my system. Okay, we go here, okay. I'm just checking that if my browser is properly on. Oh yeah, okay. Let's continue here. Creating an array again. Ten. Okay. Okay, internet. It's internet issue. इंटरनेट इशू हो रहा है, इंटरनेट इशू हो रहा है। नो बट वेब पेज कनेक्टेड तो है आपके से वाईफाई से। ना ना डिस्कनेक्ट ही हो गया। नहीं नहीं नहीं, आरजे से एक सेकंड, एक सेकंड। आरजे कहाँ है? he left his phone. Yep. Okay, it's back. It's back. Okay, this is working. This is working now. Right. Now I put a break statement here. Yeah. Yeah. So we're done. Yep. 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 Move forward from there. I'm sorry for the noise again. This is just we have come to an end for the session today, guys. That's all for today. And thanks for attending the session. Do hit a like and share with your friends and everyone if you like the session. Please share on your socials. Make sure you share on your socials. सेशन देख रहे हो, स्क्रीनशॉट लो, अपने सोशल्स पे डालो, लिंक्डइन ट्विटर सब जगह पे डालो, एंड टैग एंड यूज द हैशटैग GDSC IIIT Kalyani and hashtag TechTalks and tag GDSC account will repost it, retweet it, and make sure you share on your socials, spread everywhere. Okay, if you want these sessions more, please give it hit the like button and drop the comment. And you can drop your doubts in the comment also. We'll have to reply as soon as possible. And you can reach out to me also. All the links are provided in the description. The next session will happen tomorrow only. The time and details will be provided to you as soon as possible. Just keep an eye on our socials. So that's all for today, folks. Thank you for attending. Good night. Sayonara.